Well, we've come up here to see some of the changes since the fires come through.
Caution! This area has been subject to recent widespread bushfires. I was at my house with my mum, just sort of panicking. From our place you could see the fire from the back of our place. During the process, Mum was going like back and forth to Morwell, taking all the possessions to my nana. She was real glad that it didn't come down, burn everything. She was really shocked. I reckon it all was just depending on the wing, where the wind was pointing. Yeah, and I reckon that's what stopped it. Or perhaps the back burning, maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, it burned out about 1 million hectares across Gippsland, mainly through the Great Dividing Range, and it lasted for 69 days. It's actually Victoria's longest fire, 69 days. So it's also one of the largest. Once we head up towards Lacolla, you see it's burnt very hot through there, and it's done a lot of damage to the vegetation, campgrounds and walking tracks, roads. This area and shop behind you was actually damaged during the floods that followed the bushfire up here. There's a lot of debris and came down the Barkly and Wellington rivers, and the shop's only just reopened.
Well, last time we were here, the river wasn't running at all.
How long is the river going to stay muddy and turbid for? Well, this could clear up in the next couple of weeks as the sediment all settles out, but every time we get a big rain, until the revegetation comes back, it's going to run turbid. Could be a couple of years before it really clears up properly, and then even still there's going to be a lot of sediment along the riverbanks, and it's going to need quite a few rains to flush it all out.
What's all the green stuff on the trunks of the trees?
That's epicormic growth. One of the ways that the trees survive fire is they have buds underneath the bark, and when their leaves and crowns get burnt off, those buds will shoot, and that's the green you see on the side of the trees, and that's what photosynthesizes. It helps the trees survive after the fire.
Why have some of the trees lost their bark and others haven't?
They're different species of tree. Further down on the slope here you've got narrowleaf peppermint, then you start getting into grey gums, mountain gums, and then mountain ash up the top here.
Why are some of the trees standing in a cleared area by themselves?
Well, this area has been logged, so the mountain ash have died and there's been salvage harvested, but the animals still need somewhere to live. So what we do is we retain habitat trees. It's about 5 per hectare, and they're trees that either do have hollows or potentially are going to form hollows. And the reason hollows are important is because about 50% of our native fauna actually need hollows. Up here we've got lots of gliders, including some of the greater gliders, which are quite a large gliding animal. And we've got possums, mountain brush-tailed possums. And there's also a whole range of birds that use hollows as well.
How long does it take for a tree hollow to be suitable to live in?
We don't have any animals that actually make a hollow, but rather the process of hollow development that relies on fungi that needs to get into the tree, eat the inside of the tree out, and then that has to be removed, and usually that's by fire or water. So it can take up to 150 years, and in most species it'll actually take longer than that.
Why do you have to wear a helmet?
Well, we have to wear a helmet in the bush, especially after it's been burnt, because there's a lot of branches, dead branches up in the tree that could fall.
Let's go! So if you want to have a look, see what you can find.
What about that log just there? Would that have any insects in it? Like that dirt patch there?
Quite possible, but you'd have to have a look.
They probably would be inside. Possibly.
During the fire we saw a lot of animals on the side of the roads, so trying to escape the fire, and the DSE like to burn off roads because you've already got a natural fire break there, so along the edge of the roads, you generally got some green grass, and was the only green grass left. So the animals would come down and eat from the grass, and unfortunately, a lot of them were actually hit by cars. So drivers find it hard to see in the smoky conditions. Mushrooms are they're the fruiting body of a much larger organism underneath the ground. So that's how they reproduce. And this time of year, when it's starting to get a bit of rain and gets wet, that's when all the mushrooms start to appear. We've been in about 6 years of drought, and mushrooms have been pretty light on. They're actually a resource that's used by possums in particular, but other animals, wallabies also eat them, and they're quite an important food resource after fire.
Some fungus even form a bond with the tree so that they share the nutrients they find in the ground and that.
This forest, underneath it, fungus will actually grow through the soil and pull nutrients out of the soil that the trees otherwise can't get up. One mycorrhizae fungus under the ground it's all interconnected, and it can be as big as a football field. It could even be the biggest animal that we have on Earth. We're not going to be able to see one. What we can see is the fruiting bodies of them, which are actually the mushrooms.
Which let off the spores in there.
Yeah, that's how they move. That's right.
Oh, there's
You
a
really
worm.
need to
There's,
get down and use your hands and have a look.
there's worm in there.
Millipedes.
Oh, no.
Well, you can see inside that log, it hasn't actually burnt. So insects, like every animal, need two things. They need a place to live and food to eat.
Might this one?
Oh, whoa!
Might this one have created a bond with the tree line?
That one there looks like it's actually just at the base of the tree.
I found spider nests. Hey, what are these?
What do you notice about this wombat hole? It's got moss, and it's also got a lot of loose soil. You can see there.
Yeah.
That's very fresh, which means quite likely there's actually a wombat in there at the moment, because this is its digging.
This one's been burnt out. Parts of it's still solid, but
Comes on your head easy when it's wet.
this one's had fungus eaten out of it, I reckon. As well.
Okay guys, we're getting a bit far away. The tree there, all burnt out at the base. And if the wind blows this way, that tree's going to come this way. So let's make our way back to the road.
Okay. Oh, that's a wombat hole.
One of the things that fire does do is it promotes the excavation of hollows within the tree, and possums and gliders and some birds really need that. It's not all bad. It does lower the animal numbers to start with, but with a bit of food and the increase in hollows, some animals will come back quite quickly.
Once the leaves have all burnt off the trees, there's actually increased light penetration to the soil layer, and that actually helps a lot of seeds to grow up pretty quickly. So recovery starts straight away, and with a lot of sunshine and rain, it can happen quite quickly in some areas.
It's broken down the insects. They've obviously vanished around this place, because I'd think you'd look around at the trees and you wouldn't find any. They've probably flown to a more secure place.
The trees have been burnt, so the insects that might live on trees and the leaves might have,
in the habitat.
might have died, or they might have flew away if they can, or they could have burrowed.
I reckon it's sort of good because the new.
It's got new soil, but then again it's bad because the koalas can't eat the trees. Made the trees look horrible.